Welcome to Radiant Mom Rising. Get ready to be inspired, empowered, and uplifted. I'm your host, Mary Dibble, and in each episode, we dive into amazing stories, insights, and conversations that help moms like you chase your dreams and embrace your worth. Let's rise and shine together.
Hey, beautiful mama. Welcome back to Radiant Mom Rising. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had one of those days where everything feels like it's too much? You're overwhelmed, you're snapping quicker than you want to, you can't think clearly, and you're just trying to get through with the day? And then you think, why am I like this? I should be able to handle this better. But what if I told you it's not that you're failing, it's that your nervous system is overwhelmed and no one ever taught you how to regulate it? In today's episode, I'm sitting down with Layne and we're diving into what's really happening in your body when you feel stressed, reactive, or stuck in survival mode. And more importantly, what you can actually do about it. This conversation is simple, powerful, and something every mom needs to hear. Let's dive in. Welcome back, mamas. Thank you for being here with us. I am so excited to be here with Miss Layne. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
Awesome. How are you doing, Mary?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm excited to have this conversation with you. From what I was reading about you, I feel like we're so aligned in the way we help and serve others. So excited to get started. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Layne and I am a licensed professional counselor. I'm also a somatic educator, a yoga meditation teacher, and I'm a mother of four. So I help overwhelmed moms and professionals regulate their nervous systems so that they can feel more calm, they can feel more clear and connected, not only in their businesses, but in their family and their personal lives. So I have a breathe, move, heal approach. So everything I do falls through this nervous system regulation lens, and we breathe, we move, and we use healing affirmations just to have these simple, in the moment nervous system tools that help women shift out of that overwhelm into the steadiness that they really desire without needing extra time and hours upon your day or doing more. So, this is something I live every single day. I'm doing it, and I am just so passionate about this work because I love helping women experience this shift and really stepping into their true power.
Oh, that's amazing. And see, that's what I love because this is exactly what I'm all about as well, because it's so powerful, is it not? And it's like, for me
Yeah.
too, like I had no idea. I was one of those reactive moms who just would lash out. Carried everything. I didn't even realize how much I was living in survival mode for so much of my life. Don't get me wrong, survival mode got me through so much, growing up. But at the same time, it's like when you're trying to evolve into a new version, a better version of yourself, sometimes you really have to let go of that old self and step into a new. And then having these tools like this has changed everything for me and how I handle stuff. I mean, that's why I want people to understand it's like life is unpredictable. We are always going to have challenges and ups and downs. I mean, good and bad days, and that's okay. But it's like the way we get to handle it, that's
Yeah.
powerful. That's how you get your power back. So tell us a little bit about your own journey and how you came across this. Like, how did this come about in your life? And I'd like to hear more about that.
Yeah, sure. So I started as a therapist and I was doing talk therapy and I loved it. I absolutely loved being in that healing space with people. And then I started doing yoga just kind of for fun on the side. And I noticed all of a sudden my anxiety just went down. And I was like, wait a second, I can be in the therapy room talking about anxiety. I can be talking about my own anxiety or other people's anxiety, depression, whatever it might be, their overwhelm. And that's great. Talking about it is great. When I was doing the yoga, I was feeling a shift in my body. And that's the point where I was like, wait a second. Why can't I integrate these two? Why can't these be integrated? And this was 20 plus years ago. So once I started integrating them, I got some training and I really stepped into yoga and meditation in that space and the somatic space. And I started doing more trauma informed work. I started getting into health and nutrition and really just integrating all of it together, learning a lot about the nervous system and really empowering myself as a person to I really teach people when we can be in our bodies, when we can acknowledge what's happening inside of our bodies, then we have this safety. We're in this window of tolerance, which we can talk more about, but this is where we're calm and we're regulated. But life happens. And so we're going to get pulled out of that. And so when I learned, okay, I can combine all these things, I can develop a safe container for myself, for other people. I can teach them these skills to ground and really regulate their nervous system. the talk therapy becomes so much more accessible. All of the skills become so much more accessible because we have that safe container for them. When we're trying to, cognitively talk ourselves out of anxiety or depression or overwhelm, sometimes that can be really challenging and we can come up against a lot of walls. But when we have this safety within our body, it's like there's this beautiful opening and this beautiful awareness of I'm safe, I can do this now. And so all of it lands differently. And affirmation lands differently
Yeah.
when we feel safe in our body and we can receive it. Otherwise, sometimes it's just words. And so that's why I started blending all of it. I still love talk therapy, but I also just combine all of it together. And I really see the value and the outcomes just soaring because as a result, people are making changes and they're shifting out of that overwhelm and they're learning all their triggers. They're learning how to sense all of this and they're really learning how to help themselves. So it was born kind of from my own process of like, wait a
Hmm.
second, I'm feeling this and I know my clients are feeling it in the room with me. So let's just start to integrate it. And then it took off from there. And now I work with all ages. I do nervous system regulation. I do somatic work and education. I do a lot of speaking engagements. I love teaching in person and over online as well. But I work with kids as young as 5, 6, 7, all the way up to 87 years old. I work with couples and I just love it.
I love that. That's something I have a passion for as the kids. And that's why I think I ended up picking moms as my niche because as a mom myself, like I feel like it starts with us because of how we model for our kids. And I learned through a lot of the inner child healing and the trauma work, like you said, you talked about how much I didn't even realize I was carrying things that weren't even mine.
Yeah.
That was a big eye opener for me. And then also just learning, like you say, to sit in the discomfort of your
Yes.
feelings. Whew, I will be honest with you, that was a tough one for me in the very beginning, but oh my goodness, in time I realized how powerful that was. But it also taught me a lot about myself and how much I was wired and raised in a way of like resisting my feelings, like trying to
Yeah.
I became a fixer. And so
Yes.
it showed me a lot about how like even other people's discomfort, like when other people went about things like in a bad mood or feeling bad, like my initial reaction was wanting to make them feel better. And I
Yeah.
have had to learn as a coach, you have to sit in that with them. Like that's
Yeah.
so powerful. And just sitting in that with yourself and for them, it's something that's strengthened my marriage too.
Yeah.
Like it's something me and my husband have done, and it's amazing. And so yeah, this stuff is like again, that's why I'm so like we're so passionate because when you're living it, when you experience it for yourself and see how it changes everything, and like you say, the way you show up, the way you feel, the way you handle those situations. Because let's be real, mamas, life's chaos, chaotic.
Yeah.
You got 4 kids. What are their ages?
They range from my oldest is 14 and my youngest is 8, almost
Okay.
8. So,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
See,
you
I
have
have,
3, right?
I do. I have 2. I have well, God, they're going to be, so my son's going to be 18 coming up. And then I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old who will be 5 and 7 this year. So yeah, it's like, but it's like,
You're in it.
it's exactly. And then on top of that, working and having your business and
Yeah.
life it's just these things help you in so many ways to just again take
Yeah.
your power back and
Well, and
really allow you to respond in the way you would love to.
yes. And I think that that's the piece for me that is it's an alignment. And when
Yes.
we're like motherhood, business, it's not just like a time management challenge. It's a nervous system experience. And I think that we forget that we're holding decisions, like you said, we're holding deadlines, we're holding these business experiences, we're holding the school calendar, we're holding the sports calendars, we're holding emotions, which is yours, like you said, having the capacity in this safe container to have all of your experiences and then also holding that for your families and having this open range in this container to say, whatever you bring to me, I'm here with you. I can sit on this bench right beside you and I can be with this difficult emotion with you because I'm regulated enough to manage that. And there's this beautiful co-regulation that then happens within that relationship, whether that's with your children, a business partner, your husband. And so we are able to manage that. And a lot of moms don't need more strategies, and they don't need to necessarily learn more techniques. They need support for their nervous system because when we start to feel it, and I've seen it with all the people that I worked with, when they start to feel it, you're really able to be within this window of tolerance and realize that overwhelm, it's not a failure. It's just your nervous system response. And when we respond in those ways, like you said, like some of the ways that don't feel in alignment in like our authentic parenting selves, That's just
Yeah.
because we're outside of our window of tolerance. We're up in that fight, flight, or freeze, that hyper arousal above our window of tolerance, or we're down below in that hypo arousal. And that's more of the freeze, that like
Yeah.
overwhelm, like I don't know what to do. Have you ever felt like that? Like almost like I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know what to do. And it's that in itself is just like, that's outside of that window. And
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
all of this leads to the things that we don't want to feel, that irritability, brain fog, like
Yes.
the decision fatigue, the struggle with reacting in a way that we don't feel aligned with. And so all of it just really plays into, if I'm regulated, I can co-regulate as well. And I can
Yes.
provide all these things and really be the authentic parent and mother and business person that I want to be.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what else too? It's like in those moments, like how you were describing feeling that brain fog because you're overwhelmed or feeling lost or not knowing what's to do next. I have found those moments right there where you utilize those tools and pause and actually give yourself the grace to take a break if you need a break are so powerful. I've had times where I just wasn't feeling it. Like I could tell my energy was off, and because I'm listening more to my body. And instead of pushing through where I normally be like, well, I need to do this. I got to get it done. I would be like, no, I'm going to take a moment. I'm just going to stop and I'm going to go relax. I'm going to do something else. And you know what would happen a lot of times is when I would allow myself to just be present in that, in relaxing, not worrying, whatever, bam, a download comes and I'll get the
Mm,
answer or I'll get something that comes up and then I'm like, ooh, I didn't even think about that. And bam, and then I'm back on it. And I get so much more accomplished because I'm coming, like you say, in alignment and giving myself that pause, that break that I needed to stop overthinking, to stop pushing and forcing it. And so it's so important to really honor that and stop feeling, because we feel so much guilt if we want to just
yes,
sit down and do nothing. And like that's
right.
actually so powerful to sit down and do nothing. That's
Yeah.
sometimes where some of the most powerful revelations come from, and ideas and concepts is when you sit in the quietness and the stillness. And I don't know, I get it. I have ADHD, so it's really hard for someone like me to shut this mind up. But it's like, but through the power and practice of meditation, I have actually learned also to shift my perspective about the noise per
Yeah.
se. And I've also loved that in itself because I used to be so against meditation just because I thought, well, I don't do it right. Because
Oh,
my voice,
yeah.
as I can't
Judging.
shut my voice up. Yeah, exactly. And so learning that from a coach and having her help me reframe that and realizing, no, that's just you getting a chance to sit with yourself. There's not about judging. It's about being one with it and letting, being aware of it. And then sometimes you can gently learn to just bring it back to where you want to bring it back to. And it's a practice. It's a daily, all of this you guys were talking about is a daily practice. And it's not going to always look exactly the same way or always be exactly the same way. But ultimately, it's just an opportunity for you to know how to reconnect with yourself in the
Yeah.
midst of a crazy day. Think about work, your work life, like for instance, let's say you're having a bad day, your boss is being a jerk. And
Yeah.
you're feeling that net you and I don't know about you, but there's a moments where you want to be like, oh, I want to just let him have it and let him know how I felt. But sometimes we can't do that. You have to be professional, right? Well, these tools are prime examples of ways that you can just take a break, slow down, and allow yourself to process that and
Yes.
and then respond in such a more professional, beautiful way that helps you be the bigger person. And
Yes.
you know what I mean? That like that's just such a beautiful way to be. Really
Yeah.
beautiful way to be.
And I often like to say you can't outwork a dysregulated nervous system, which
Oh,
means
yes,
I
I know.
can't like you described, okay, I'm feeling this way,
Yeah.
and yes, I can keep pushing through,
Mhm.
but when I give myself permission to sit down, I instantly have some clarity. You
Yes.
described that when you actually pause and give yourself permission to slow down, you had clarity, you had some
Yeah.
peace within that, even though, yes, you have a list of 10 things to do, but
Yeah.
you can't outwork a dysregulated nervous system. And that leads to burnout. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
ultimately, this is why the productivity tools like stop working. This is why we've been doing the same thing over and over again. And for some of us that are getting into the middle age years, it's like, well, what was working 5 years ago isn't working for me anymore. And then we start being concerned about that. And it's true because our nervous system is constantly changing and our energy systems are constantly changing. And so we have to adapt. And it is a daily practice, like you said, it is consistency.
Yes.
I often like to say when we start working out, I'm not going to go work out if I really have some goals. If I go and work out 2 hours once a week, that's great, but am I going to get the results instead if I work out every single day for 15 minutes? absolutely I'm going to have a better result. So nervous system, we have these neural responses. And what we need to do is daily, we do little teeny micro pauses. We might have a little bit of a longer practice in the morning, or you're describing some meditation built in. We might do that in the morning or in the evening. We might sprinkle in some little micro pauses throughout the day. What that does is that teaches our nervous system that we're safe, we're able to regulate, and we're able to give ourselves what we need and listen to ourselves. Because we've all been there where you crawl into bed at the end of the night and you're like, why does my shoulder hurt? Oh my gosh, I have this crick in my neck. Why do I have this headache all of a sudden? It's probably been there for a few hours. You didn't catch it because you were pushing through and you didn't slow down to acknowledge this is what's happening for me and I need a pause or I need a break. So when we build it in these little pauses throughout our day, it makes such a difference because your nervous system then feels, okay, I'm listened to, I'm heard, I'm safe, and it provides this safe container for us to really open up to the true experience of our authenticity and productivity in a different way.
Absolutely. It truly does. You're right. It's like I always think of it now as like, oh, that's my inner child lashing out. It's my, and I recognize her instead of making her feel bad. I'm like, no, I'm going to give her that acknowledgement, that love, and that comfort that she didn't have back then that she needed. And that's something
Oh,
that I feel is so amazing because I recognize that now. I didn't recognize that before. And like I said, this is why I'm so passionate about having these kind of conversations and being real because I I know what's on the other side, but I also understand how hard it is to be in it. And I
yes.
get that before I knew any of this, before I practiced any of this, like I remember just living on that autopilot and always still deep down feeling like I know I'm meant for more, but I never really allowed myself to dream of what that more looked like or allowed
Yeah.
myself to even think that it was possible for me to take one step towards it. And then because of coaching, because of being able to finally allow myself to just take a chance on learning something new that I just never experienced before, it turned my life around. And I'm so grateful for it. And that's why I just want anyone listening, if you're in a place where you're feeling like you've lost yourself, you're not alone. We all go through this. And without allowing yourself to take a chance and learn something new or get the support you need, like you'll never know what's possible for you in your life or maybe what's meant for you that's been waiting for you to show up for it. So that's what this
Yes.
is also all about. And I love inspiring people to just do it, go for it.
Yeah.
I know it's
Take
going to
that
be
deep
hard.
dive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I love it.
And you're an absolute, you're an absolute genius for being able to, survive the challenges and then also give yourself the grace and the compassion to say, oh, that's my inner child. Like you're able to touch into that and then you're able to give her what it is that she needs in that moment. That's that nurturing. And I call that reparenting. And I love to encourage people through this work to be
Yeah.
able to pause and say, I'm reacting or I'm responding in this way because this is happening for me. And it's not making meaning of it. It's just acknowledging, oh, this has happened to me in the past. And now I get to choose differently. I get to choose how this goes in this moment. And then as a result, what you're doing in those moments, which is so beautiful, is you're creating a new neural pathway for yourself. You're responding in a different way. And then as a result, you're nurturing yourself, you're connecting with yourself, you're giving yourself compassion, and you're providing what you need, which you may or may not have received then, but you're doing it now.
Yeah.
So then as a result, you're creating this new pathway for yourself to respond. That's forever change then, because as you practice, that becomes your new norm. And then that's what ripples down to your children. Your children see
Yes.
and they feel that. And then the co-regulation is happening. They're experiencing it in real time as you're
Yes.
doing it as well.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Even with my mom, she'll tell me all the time. She's like, gosh, the way you talk to your kids, Mary, she's like, I wish I had known. She's like, you're amazing. And I'm like, it's so nice to be able to have these conversations. Even with my 6-year-old daughter, we took her swimming the other day. And even though she's jumped in a pool before, for some reason she gets this new fear again of it whenever she goes back after it's been a while. And it was wonderful, like just getting to walk her through that and understanding that it's okay, totally normal. Your body's shaking, you're scared. I said, even though you've done it before in the past, you don't quite remember how it felt and how fun it was. I said, of course it always feels scary, and that's okay, that's totally normal. I said, but the best feeling is when you just do it anyways and just give it a chance, and you'll see that it's not as bad as you think it is. And then I finally convinced her to like just give it a chance and go, and she did it, and then she like loved it and then did it over and over again to the point where even
there was a couple times she fell and accidentally didn't hold her nose and got water up her nose. And the way she still handled that even bad situation of what she was afraid would happen in the first place, she handled it in such a stronger way because she allowed herself to just do it anyways. And so I
Yeah.
just thought it was a beautiful moment of like getting to encourage her, just like I did with trying out a gymnastics class one time. She was so afraid of giving it a chance. And I said, but you'll never know when, I said, you don't, I'm not forcing you to do it. It's just an
Right.
opportunity to test it out, see if you like it, meet new friends, but, just give it a chance. And she was so nervous about it, but I was proud of her. And I told her that for just trying it. And she loves it. Now she wants to do gymnastics. And I'm like,
Oh,
I
I
will
love
find a
that.
way. Yeah. But it's like, again, this is all as a mom who's, for me, it's like I'm changing in so many ways myself. It's beautiful to be able to show up for them and to do affirmations with them, to have them repeat things like at the end of the night that, I am beautiful, I am capable, I am worthy, that I
Mm.
never had, but I'm getting to do that for my kids now. It's just empowering. It's so
It
empowering.
is. And you feel it and they feel it and they're giving you in the moment feedback. Like you're feeling that and noticing that from them and their behaviors speak volumes and their connection and that attachment piece. So it all just comes together and you're seeing what's working for them and
Yeah.
you're pivoting and acknowledging, okay, they're different than me. So what works for this kid might work then, differently for this kid, but you're able to really like lay that all out and assess what's best for each kid and then what your role is in within that. And so it's beautiful. I love that you're doing that. We do that. We do sometimes we do some tapping, sometimes we do affirmations.
I love
Sometimes I just
that.
lead them in like a little visualization or something. But it's so powerful when we're regulated and we're able to do those things with our children. Whereas, the bedtimes, we've all had those bedtimes too, where we're snappy, we're tired, we're struggling, maybe they're not being as cooperative as they could be. And, we end up butting heads and there becomes a power struggle. And no one goes to bed happy. We always, you end up experiencing
Yeah.
emotions afterwards that aren't in alignment with how you'd like to feel. The guilt, the shame you mentioned earlier, sometimes it creeps in. And we don't want to. We want to be regulated.
Yeah.
And so doing little pauses like before their bedtime, when you know that there's a moment coming up that might be stressful for you, before a doctor's appointment, if you have a kid though that's a little nervous about a doctor's appointment, building these little pauses in where it's
Yeah.
suitable for you and making sure that you give yourself that literally 1 to 2 minutes just to do it. I love to do it in the pickup line at school. I get there and I have a couple minutes and I'm like, okay, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to push my feet. I'm going to just say some kind words to myself here. And when they get in my car, then I'm regulated. I'm calm and I've let go of whatever it is from my day that maybe I was holding on to a little bit or still processing, and I'm present with them. And that makes such a difference, especially for those first few minutes when you connect with your child, whether it's morning, after school, bedtime, whatever that might be.
Yeah, that is very powerful. I love that. I because I have a big I listen to my podcasts a lot of times, like ending inspirational. And right now I have a son who's in pre-K, so I have to go pick him up, and then we have to wait like 20 minutes in the line before I can go get Brea. So it's like we have this moment of like being in the car and we're listening to a positive podcast that's inspiring, but also getting to have a conversation and talk and ask him about his day and what he's done and things like that. It is important, like you say, to have those moments because you're right. I mean, our days are they can be chaotic sometimes, and it's
They
it's so
can.
nice though to be able to recognize things in a way that I never once did. I just let it. I guess I always used to believe that it is what it is. So I just dealt with it in a way
Yeah.
that was like unhealthy though. Like, you know what I mean? Now it's like, no, I can handle it. I can deal like you said. And that tolerate, you were talking about earlier about tolerating. That's something new that I've learned too through even entrepreneurship and in life. How we got to learn how to tolerate failure. We have to learn to tolerate the discomfort, tolerate the things that are part of the process of really, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want these things, you have to learn that's part of the process. And the sooner we see it in that way, the sooner we realize we're doing exactly the right thing. We are exactly where we're meant to be. Things are going to unfold exactly as they're meant to. And the more you have that belief and trust, I feel like one of the things I love to share with my clients and with anyone listening is always the knowing that everything you're going through on this journey, all the ups and downs are literally preparing you so that you can carry what you're meant to carry. Because without really go, if you were someone who was literally got that get rich overnight person, like let's say the success just was handed to you overnight. Number one, you're not going to be able to handle it. It's gonna have a new chaos that you were not ready for. And number two, you're not going to really be able to help those who need the help because 99% of people do not get that. And so if you're really here to serve someone and show them how to start their business or how to regulate their life or how to do this, you have to know what it's like to go through it. And you have to
Yes.
know what it feels like to be in the mess yourself.
Yes.
And so that's why I feel like it's such a powerful reframe that as you're starting your business, as you're going through it and you're getting the launches that are failing or the things that where no one's showing up, okay, I know it hurts. I know it's hard, but it's part of it that's gonna
Hmm.
just keep going because your time is it's waiting for you. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen when it's meant to, and you're gonna be so prepared and so ready for it that it's gonna blow you away when it happens. You
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. And there's some beautiful reframes that you said in there, reframing that it's a learning experience, and
Yes.
so shifting it from that failure into I'm learning. Every single experience I've had within my business, within motherhood, like
Yeah.
it's all growth and it's all learning and it's all for me. It's not
Yes.
happening to me, it's happening for me.
Exactly.
And I love reframing it that way because
It's good.
when you're in it and it feels so heavy or it feels so overwhelming, it's like, oh, why is this happening to me? And it feels like it just, where's the lesson within this? But when you really slow down and you give yourself, like you said, when you slow down, you kind of get these downloads, you get this clarity of, wait a second, this is why this is happening.
Yeah.
I need to experience this in order to open up this other door, or I need to experience this so that it prompts me to even improve this part of this, or to shift my own narrative, or dive into some of
Yes.
my old
Yes.
wounds in order to heal my own wounds to be able to offer this to people. So it's just that building and that practice within ourselves, and
Yeah.
same in motherhood. So much from them. There are little mirrors. And so
Yeah.
to be able to look and into our own behaviors and actions as mothers and grow and reframe what we need to be able to grow.
Oh yes, exactly. And I do love the part you were saying just now. Of course, my mind goes blank when I was gonna say it, but I think what's also really important with the reframing and everything is my mind really just went blank.
So
Love
good.
that.
It's
No.
happening to you, maybe?
Yes, yes. What you were just saying about the kids and how there are mirrors, and then there's something else you just said that was like, it just stood out to me, and that's how this is how my brain works, you guys. That's what happens, and I love it. It's okay, I know. But
Yeah.
anyways, but I really do love being able to support moms in this way and talk and be real about this because again, our journeys are so different. And oh,
Yeah.
that's what it was. So I wanted to say and reflect on this too, that sometimes you're not always going to get the answers either right away. Like even when you're
Yeah.
going through something and you're like, may not understand like why it's happening to you. You're not always going to get the answers. And you know what? That's a part of learning the self-trust and trusting as well. Because sometimes you will kind of be able to see, oh, okay, this is a learning thing. But other times you might not really get it in the beginning. And it could be months, years down the road that you finally look back and realize, oh,
Why?
that's
Yeah.
why I went through that, you know? But so I also wanted to, that's what I wanted to kind of also put out there. Like, it's okay too if you
Yeah.
don't have the answers and you don't know why things are happening the way they are. Because I
Yeah.
think it's a journey. It's a journey,
Yeah.
and we're all meant to learn and grow. And again, sorry, brain fart I had, but yes, that's exactly what I wanted to reflect on too with that because I think that that's something I see with a lot of moms, and I'm guilty of it too. Is like you want to have that control. We want to know all
Oh,
the
yeah.
answers. We want to know how, and
Yeah.
when, rather than understanding that, you know what, that's not always for us to know, and that's okay.
Yeah. Well, and sitting in the discomfort and the uncertainty,
Oh, yeah.
that feels like a loss of control for a
Yeah.
majority of mothers that and
Yes.
businesswomen that love to like really be in the know, love to have everything wrapped up really nicely, love to have a plan, right? Who doesn't
Mhm.
love that? We all do.
Yeah.
We're like, masters of making sure that everyone is feeling good. Everyone has food, everything's prepared in the car. Like, of course, we thrive on that. And because why? Because it keeps our anxiety and it keeps the rest of the stuff that's coming at bay, right? So
Yeah.
when we release that and we're like going into this uncertainty or we step into this feeling of like, I don't know if this is the right answer or I don't have an answer, there's something that is really challenging there, but so powerful. Think of when your kid comes to you and you don't have an answer for them and they feel helpless and they're tired and they're struggling, whether it's with homework or it's with a behavior or a friend. What do we do? We don't always have the answers right. But what do? We are there with them. We connect with them. We hug them. We hold them. We say, I'm here for you. And the messaging that you're giving in that moment is, I'm going to be here regardless. And we don't have to have the answers, but we're here in this together and we're regulated, we're calm, you're at peace. And then as a result, we let the answers come in their time. And that is such a comfortable, like nice position because if we picture someone doing that for us, doing that for ourselves, providing that to them, the uncertainty then it's a little less uncomfortable, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a little bit like it softens. And I love to teach that when we do slow down, we can soften that because we love control. Absolutely. We love feeling that because we don't want to feel anxious. We don't want to feel worried. When we stepped into motherhood, no one told me you're going to worry about this sweet little kid for literally the next 30, 40 years of your life. Like no one tells you that. It's like an expected thing, but no one tells you what's actually going to feel like until you're
Yeah.
in it and you're living it. And then
Exactly.
you're like, oh, this is what this feels like.
Yes, it's like I was watching I don't know if you watch Friends, but we were watching Friends the other day and it's like it was when Rachel was pregnant. And it's funny because it was like she was reading this book and she had this she realized she said, "Oh my God, they you have all this stuff about like what to expect when you're pregnant, but nobody ever really talks about when the baby comes out, like what to expect and how to do it." And I'm like, that's what it's like when you become a mom for the first time. You're not going to know all the answers. But it's so amazing though, because I love what Ross said. He's like, for anyone who's going to be a new mom, I can't even explain it except trust that they're the it's going to be so natural. It's going to
Yeah.
come. You're going to figure it out. We were born for this. It's
Yeah.
instinctual. So it's like, even though it's not going to be looking perfect, it's not going to be perfect, but it's like, but it's still at the same time, it's like, oh my God, you pick it up so quickly. You learn
Yeah.
how to manage it. You find your way. And then it's so different with each child, by the way, too. That's another thing no one prepared me for. It's like I didn't know that
Right.
my last child was going to be colicky. I never had that experience before. So it's like here I have a toddler, now a baby that's colicky, and talk about no sleep and then dealing with, postpartum on top of that. And I didn't have a tribe back then. I wish I was doing this. I think I had just gotten started on that journey back then,
Sure.
but I didn't like really have it here like I do now, that I would have loved that support, which is another reason why I love being here and being available. Cause I'm like, oh my God, you do not need to go through that alone. Like, please get support, because for me, it was very dark. And I don't
Yeah.
want any mom to feel that way or to feel like they have to go through that and just something's wrong with them, or they're not allowed to talk about it. They're not allowed to feel those feelings or have those thoughts. Yeah, yeah, it happens and it's okay. And it's better to talk about it and to process it and to understand you're not alone. And
Right.
it's totally normal and it's an unfortunate normal, but it is something that so many moms go through with all the hormonal changes and everything. But it's
Yes.
like, again, suffering in silence. How many of us moms do that? And I
Right.
think it's enough. Like, enough is enough. Let's not do
Yeah.
that to ourselves anymore. Let's support each other. Let's
Yeah.
rise and thrive together. Let's be there for each other instead of, like I said, just feeling like we're all in it for ourselves.
Yeah. And there's support available. And
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. And I love your approach on that and making sure that people know there is support out there. And
Yes.
I run a course and it's a 4-month nervous system regulation course. And it's specifically like foundations of regulation and this grounded presence. Like, why is this valuable? Why do we need this? Why do moms, like you're speaking of, need to step into this, business owners? And
Yes.
then we move into like releasing the stress and really acknowledging like, I'm a resilient person, and I also need to learn how to really tap into what my body's feeling, listening to my body and releasing that stress and tension, and being emotionally aware and compassionate and connecting with myself. And then how do I build that into my day? So that's what my program is really about.
I love
And
that.
it builds in coaching calls. So, like, it's real life, and we
Yeah.
get to problem solve and we get to be in the moment with each other and, do that question and answer period where you're having this experience. Let's do it. And let's do a practice together, which I'd love to give you a little sample of
I
too.
was going to ask that. Would you please? Yes, walk the audience through it. Give them an example so they see like the realness of all this. And
Yeah,
I'd love for you to walk us through one of those.
sure. So let's say it's, one of those times where you're just feeling sometime during the day that, okay, I'm just a little bit off. Maybe, after a meeting, before a meeting, anything, just that like I'm feeling a little bit dysregulated. So what I want you to do is just push your feet into the ground beneath you and take a nice deep breath in and then give an audible sigh. Good. Push your feet into the ground and do that breath again. Deep breath in, audible sigh. And then gently bring your hand to your heart. Breathe in again as you push your feet down. Again, that nice sigh. And gently say to yourself, I can slow down. Deep breath in and out. I can slow down. And just give yourself a few more seconds to notice how that feels in your body. That slowing down process. Taking a moment to breathe, feeling connected to the earth beneath you. This is a simple 1 minute that you give yourself to regulate and to really check in with you. Good. And then just slowly release your hand. And then just check in with your body and notice how that felt. And you can open your eyes.
I love
So that's a simple one. We
it.
can do a couple more if you'd like.
I'd love it. I think that would be
Yeah.
wonderful if you want to
Okay.
share.
Sure.
That's
So
beautiful.
let's think of a time that maybe you would like to build this in. Is there like a harder time for you? Mornings after school? Is there a time for you that feels a little bit more like emotionally charged or where you know you need that like pause? Maybe it's in between meetings. What's
Yes.
your moment?
Yeah. I would say for me a midday because after you're dealing with work stuff and everything gets a little like, I'm over here. I think that's such an important midday
Yeah.
place to really reconnect with yourself.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. And a lot of people feel that because we either get that midday slump, you're kind of
Yeah.
like feeling that stress, you're already thinking about what I have to do tonight or what events are coming up tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do kind of like a midday one.
Okay.
Good. So let's take a nice inhale for a count of two, actually, just to kind of re-energize ourselves. And then we're going to take a longer exhale. Good. So feel free to soften the eyes if you wish. And we'll do again a breath, a movement, and a little healing affirmation. So breathe in for a count of one. Two, breathe in, and then long exhale. And again, breathe in, long exhale. One more time, breathe in, long exhale. Good. And then gently reach your arms up overhead and just reach and just let yourself stretch side to side. Just breathing and reaching and opening up your heart space, opening up your side body. Good. And then take a deep breath and then exhale. Just let those arms melt down and give them a shake as you do so. Shake out the hands, shake out the arms.
Mm.
And then take your hands to your shoulders and just brush down your arms. Again, just releasing out some of that tension, letting go. Good. And then just take your hands and rub them together. And we're just going to place them in front of our eyes, right on our eyes. And just let yourself soften into the weight of your hands. And take a nice deep breath and exhale. And just say to yourself on your next breath in, I choose how this goes. Deep breath in, slow breath out. And just let yourself breathe here. I choose how this goes. This is this empowering space, breathing, stretching, shaking and releasing out some tension, and giving yourself this empowered phrase of choosing how this moment goes for you. You get to choose. Take one more deep breath. Nice slow exhale, and then slowly release the hands. And then just blink the eyes and open when you're ready.
Oh man,
How'd that feel?
that's very powerful. Very
Yeah.
beautiful. That's breathing exercises like this, moms, if you're listening, like I come back to this, say this episode and come back to these, like, learn this, practice it because it really does like whew, the way it releases, the way it helps you to reconnect with the present moment. And like you say, I love that I get to control how this goes. Like I
Yeah.
get because that talk about strength, especially in the midst of a midday where you're like doing all the things. And, one of the things that I have on my calendar, I have 3 blocks throughout my day that literally says check in as a reminder for me to like stop what I'm doing and check in with myself and see how I'm feeling, see how things are going, and just saying, Mary, how are you doing? And what do you need right now? Whether it be
Yeah.
water too. I even have a drink water thing because I think that's something that's so simple that so many of us moms neglect is drinking water, hydrating ourselves. And there's such power in our health and in our mental health, even with staying hydrated. I get on my
Yeah.
kids all the time about staying hydrated. And that's how I love it because when my daughter was in kindergarten, I'll never forget that that was something the teacher said. She said, I've never had a student answer, she was asking about water. And my daughter said, "Oh, to rehydrate. To water's for rehydrating." And she said that was the best answer she said she ever heard. And I'm like, I love that because I put that in my kids' heads that this is so important for your body. And
Yeah.
again, you were talking, you also brought the nutrition and the health into it and stuff. It's like it is a whole.
It's
It's us
holistic.
treating ourselves like we matter too, and it is important. And I know it's not easy, which is why I get the support and the help to show you that it
Yeah.
is possible. It doesn't have to be this long, drawn out workout, but there are little things you can do throughout your day to help you improve your health and your mental.
Yeah.
It all works together so that you get to show up and model, like you say, for your kids in the way you know you want to. So I think
Yeah.
thank you so much for walking us through that.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful, beautiful.
absolutely.
Yeah,
You want to do a
breathe.
bedtime one? Like a
Oh,
nighttime
yes,
one?
sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
You all get to the point in the nighttime where you're like overtired, overstimulated, right?
Yeah,
You're kind of pushed. You're just
yeah.
tired. And yet you probably have kids that you're taking care of. You're trying to get them calm, you get them in bed, and then you're like, do I crash? Do I do 10 things? Do I update my calendar? What do I need to do for tomorrow? That overwhelm feeling. So, giving yourself just this moment to like, I'm going to release some of that tension, and I'm going to also just give myself this ability to pause. This one you could do laying down. Like, say you lay down, you're actually ready for bed, or it's that moment like before you kind of make that decision of what I need to do and you're feeling that overwhelm. Give yourself a moment to sit or lay down and just take a nice deep breath in, soften the eyes. And I want you to hum on your exhale.
Mm.
And do that again. Deep breath in and hum. Good. Now, I want you to inhale and I want you to clench your fists, your feet, tighten, tighten into your arms and your legs. I want you to clench those areas. And I want you to think of collecting all the tension from your day. Breathe in and tighten all the muscles of your arms, your legs, your feet, and your hands. Deep breath. And now exhale, release all that tension and soften all the muscles, let it go. Feel that nice release. And now inhale, I want you to clench up those same muscles again. This time I want you to add in your belly. I want you to add in your back, your neck, your face. Scrunch up your face, your shoulders. Lift your shoulders up as high as you can towards your ears. Clench up. You'll feel yourself lift off the ground almost. Take that deep breath and collect all that tension from your day. Deep breath. And then exhale, big release. Drop the shoulders, relax the whole body, soften everything, relax all the muscles. Feel this beautiful release of all the tension. And just let yourself be here in this moment. Just feel that softness. Feel the tension just melting away. This beautiful peace and calm. And then glide your hand to your heart. And then your other hand as well. And let both hands rest upon your heart. And breathe in deeply. And as you do so, say to yourself, I am worthy of rest.
Worthy of rest.
And then exhale, really welcome that word, those words in. I am worthy of rest. And let them melt down inside of you. Breathe them in and let them flow throughout your entire body. I am worthy of rest. And offer yourself so much gratitude, saying thank you to yourself. Thank you. One more deep breath. An audible exhale with a sigh.
Ah.
and then release the hands and slowly open the eyes.
Ooh, yes, I love that.
And
Oh,
it's
I
so
love that.
good.
We don't celebrate ourselves enough and thank ourselves for all that we do and accomplish for so many others. And
Yeah.
man, we're such bosses, and that's a beautiful way to end the night. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
These are beautiful practices right here, you guys, that you can just start today and add them to your daily routine and help you to get throughout your day, morning, midday, and at night.
Yeah.
These are so it's life changing. It really is. It seems so simple, but they
It
really
is.
change so much, so
Yeah, try
much.
building it in.
Try it.
Like you said, you have them
Yeah.
built into your schedule. Just
Yes.
slow it down during the day and just like ask yourself, okay, what do I need right now? And if you don't have an answer, just take a breath, do a simple movement, say something kind to yourself. And I am on Instagram at Life Balance Be You. I have a little blurbs of these, just little ones where you can just like click, follow along with me. I teach you these little resets. It might just be one skill, it might be two, it might just be a simple pose that you can do. But just choose one. All of them are under a minute, and it just gives you this like, I deserve this. I deserve this piece. And
Yes.
if you want more, I have numerous programs that I love to share. I have the course that I love to share, and I do one-on-ones as well. But I love this work. I'm so passionate about it, and
Yeah.
it is so valuable for all the reasons that we talked about. And so definitely like take this time and really receive and open up to the support that is here for you. Whether it's through the coaching that you offer through my programs, like we're both in this together and we align
Yes.
with wanting to support everyone. So,
And I believe in divine connections, divine timing. And, this is another reason why it's so cool to network and to put yourself out there because the relationships you can build, you never know. Like, we could eventually be like expert guests in each other's stuff to help show up and bring extra to each other's purpose. It's like, it's so beautiful to just put yourself out there and just allow yourself to do what you want for yourself. Like
yeah.
you say, you deserve it, mama. You deserve it. So own that. And oh, I love it. I think please, I'll make sure, of course, all your stuff is in our show notes. So connect with her, follow her on Instagram, learn more about her programs. They sound incredible. And take these exercises to heart and start implementing them, mamas, into your daily lives. It will make such a difference, I promise. So, before I go, I know you've already shared so much, but I always open the floor. Is there any final piece of advice you'd like to share with listeners today?
Yeah, I think that really just giving yourself this time and the space to choose one thing that you heard today, choose one thing that resonated with you, and just build that into your day today. Whether it's one breath, whether it's something that Mary said or that I said that resonated with you, just slow down and really like take a breath and soak it in and really feel it. Let yourself notice how that feels for you and give yourself that couple minutes to just really acknowledge that you are worthy of that time that you are giving yourself because we are readily giving it to so many other people.
Yeah.
And this is, when we're well, the rest of the people that we're working with are going to feel that. And so just choose one thing that resonated and just let it soak in. And yeah, so that's my message that you are worthy of this time.
Yes. Oh, thank you for
Yeah,
everything. This
thank
has been such
you.
a beautiful, powerful conversation, and I really appreciate you taking the time with me
Yes,
today.
thank you as well, Mary.
Before we close out today's episode, I want you to really let these land. You're not overwhelmed because you're failing. You're overwhelmed because your nervous system is overloaded. Regulation is a skill and it can be learned. Small intentional practices can shift your entire day. You don't need more time, you need more support and awareness. When you regulate yourself, you can change how you show up for everything, including your family. If you love this conversation, make sure you connect with Layne and explore her work. Everything will be linked in the show notes. And mama, if this episode made you realize that you've been stuck in survival mode, that you've been trying to push through, hold it all together, and figure it out on your own, I want you to know you don't have to do that anymore. This is exactly the kind of work I help moms with, not just setting goals, but actually following through, learning how to regulate yourself, shift your mindset, and become the version of you who can hold the life you desire. And the best place to start is with a free Limitless Mom Strategy call. This is a space where we can get really clear on where you are, where you want to be, and what's been keeping you stuck. And whether we decide to work together or not, you're going to walk away with clarity, direction, and a renewed sense of what's possible for you. I do only have a few spots available, so if this is something you've been thinking about, I would encourage you to take that step now. You can find the link in the show notes to book your call. And if this episode resonated with you, it would mean so much if you took a moment to follow the show, leave a review, and share this with another mom who needs this message. Your support helps reach more women who are ready to rise. Thank you for being here, and until next time, take a breath, come back to yourself, and keep rising into the woman you're meant to be. Much love.